everyone. Welcome to the Radical Geek Coffee Talk live stream. Oh, wow. Look at all the people already. So I know we'll have some people joining us a little late. But I see Stacy's here, Pam's here, our moderator Attila, and Tim. Hey, Tim. Reikwin. Oh, Endless After Hours. So, Older Pennsylvania, OP, and Cool Kid Keto. Wow, so hey everybody, it's good to see you all. So anyways, I see someone is advertising, but just so you know, I'm not affiliated with another channel other than our usual group of keto channels. Welcome, Joanne. And hey, Hoofinette, good to see you. Just thought I would come in and say hello to everybody. I'm going to get started here in a few minutes. You guys, my table is piled with like 9 million ingredients today. For coffee, the coffee is like almost secondary because I've used like every little tiny dish in my entire room, or kitchen rather. So I hope you all are having a great evening. It's super cold, and then like a whole bunch has been going on lately. I don't know if you guys turned on your TV at all today. But breaking news, you guys, it's the apocalypse for sure. The Cincinnati Bengals are going to the playoffs. How about that? So, then of course, the very sad news, if you didn't see it already, one of my favorites, WKRP in Cincinnati, Howard Hessman, has passed away. It wasn't COVID though. He was having some surgery and just didn't pull through. So, you know, we'll have to think about some old-time rock and roll. That's a lot. Yeah, I do have a lot of crap. I see Tim's pointing out all my crap. Fortunately, as we cook along, it'll go pretty good. Oh, hey, Rhonda. Glad you could join us even though you're working. I totally get it. Hey, Visual Keto. So, and I'm not even a football person, but I definitely heard that right away since I'm just over here in Columbus. And, yeah, so... you know, I don't know, was it the Bengals or the Raiders? And they've both been doing pretty amazing this season. So, my goodness, for reals, that's probably why the Earth's core is cooling down. I kid, because I know, you know, but for sure. Oh, and Tim says his Rams are playing today. Lots and lots of hellos. So, you guys, I've got, Attila's going to help me out with moderating. But as you might know, Shauna is at a crafting retreat, so I don't know that she's going to make it tonight. And we should be seeing Hungry Heath and Shelly pretty soon. But I'm going to go ahead and get started because I promised you all that we would make cauliflower tater tots. And I know Lori had asked specifically for a buffalo bent to it, and so I went to town on that. So, I actually, I'm going to start off, though, by showing you guys the cauliflower. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. The lighting's a little weird tonight, but I've got it, and I already pre-microwaved it. It's just grated cauliflower, and the reason I did it earlier is so that it could be really cool for this evening. Probably should put gloves on instead of touching that with my fingers. But anyways... the reason I did that is so that it could cool down and then all of the moisture could work its way out of it. Whenever you're doing any of these things, whether it's fried rice cauliflower or cauliflower tots or hash browns or cauli browns really because there's no potato, any of those kind of things, you want it to be really dry. And it's a better texture if you get either the pre-riced frozen kind and you microwave it, or you grate it yourself, the whole head, just in like chop it up in the food processor so you have the little tiny grains. You want to do that and make sure it's good and dry. You don't want to squeeze it, even though we're going to be squeezing it here in a minute. But actually, I'm going to take this off for a minute. I'm also going to tell you the air fryer is going to need to preheat to 400. But This is a lot of cauliflower. I'm not going to use all of this tonight. We'll use it in the next couple days and have it with for breakfast cauli browns or things like that, because it's quite a lot, and that's more than my dinner would need to be for one night. But you take your nice dried out cauliflower and you throw it into the bowl. And then the next thing you're going to do is add the buffalo. I actually have a bit of the evil ooze, but if you are not a spicy person, oh hey, express yourself on your TV. That's really big. But I use the evil ooze. I don't care that it's going to be extra zippy. Sometimes that can be overpowering. And if you're not a spice person, pick yourself a very lightweight buffalo sauce, hot sauce, like the Cholula or one of those, a much more mild one. Because otherwise, because the evil ooze, it's a 1/4 cup, and it will be extremely spicy for you if that's the route you go. You dump that in. Salt and pepper. You want it pretty generous. I've got about a 1.5 teaspoons of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. You always season everything. Then let's go with 1 egg. These are my big eggs, though. They're from the local farm that we've been getting them from. It's actually an old friend of mine, and he got the farm after his parents passed away. Was not originally something I think he was planning on, but it's really going great. And he has these cornet hens, and they are just laying super amazing, deep, rich eggs. But if you didn't see the picture that I posted, they are extra jumbo. So I count them as 1.5, and I pick happy eggs in the large eggs on Chronometer, because that's about the right weight, because I have weighed them out several times in grams. Hey, good evening, the warden. Good to see you. And then I have 2 more things. Well, actually, it's 4 more things. In this bowl, because I was running out of my little containers, I have pork rind crumbs. And if you want, you could use 2 tablespoons of almond flour or 1 tablespoon of coconut flour. It's all very flexible. But the other part is that I also have a 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan. And I will tell you, this is probably the one and only time I will tell you, for a binder filler, you actually do want to be using the canned kind. You know, just your Kraft. It has probably a bunch of dirty ingredients, some cellulose and stuff like that in it. But it makes a difference in the texture, because we're trying to make something, more sturdy. So that's a 1/2 cup of each of the pork rind crumbs and of the Parmesan. And then the last thing that I have is I have a teaspoon each of an herb paste and garlic paste. You can either make them yourself. When you have springtime herbs, you mix them with a little bit of oil and a teeny bit of salt, and you paste them up in your molcajete, and then you can store it off in little bits. But also, you can buy the kind from the grocery in the tube. They're Garden Gourmet brand, and they're quite good and very handy, and I like to use those all the time, especially if I don't have fresh stuff on hand. And like right now, it's the dead of winter, so no matter how much I manage to get going, it just really isn't. You run out. You run out. Hey, Susan, good to see you. And then we're just going to give it all a good mix. And you want to make sure you break up the egg and get all of that stuff blended in. It seems like, because with all of the pork rinds and the cauliflower rice and the hot sauce and the Parmesan, that it's going to be like too dry of a mixture. But I assure you, that much of the hot sauce and the egg is more than enough moisture to bind this all together and make it squishable into the tot shape. And now that it's almost done, I'm going to get my tray out so we can shape them up. And I'm not going to make all of this. Like I said, I plan to save it for use with breakfast and other things in the morning. But once you get it all mixed together, and I know I usually try to use clear bowls so you can see, but like I said, I used every dish I had in the house today. But here, we'll bring it for you. I don't know, kind of very reflexive, but you can see here the kind of texture it gets. So it does all come together. Need my other glove now. I'm going to turn the air fryer on to 400. And we're going to do 400 for 15 minutes. So it'll preheat while we shape these up. And all you do is you take it and you make it into I'm forgetting an ingredient, you guys. I'm totally distracted. Cheese. Your mozzarella cheese. Now, this started out as shredded cheese, but what I did was in the blender, I gave it a little bit of a whirl to chop it up so it's also kind of a grated texture, like a little bit mealy. And you want that. No wonder this was so moist. I don't know if Renee's here, but sorry, the moist word. Let me dig that out and stir it in. Losing my mind today, you guys. You know, I'm not normally all disorganized, just today, evidently. Let me stir that cheese in. Cheese is the essential ingredient. That's what gives it, that's what helps it get crispy. Between that and the pork rind crumbs. And plus, well, it's cheese, and you know how I love cheese. So, oh, hey, and Express Yourself made the Keto Chow chili with the last of their Hungry Heat seasoning. Oh, no. That seasoning is so good, though. I like the taco, but also I was very lucky and got some of the Angry Texas 5 Spice. That stuff is amazing. All right. All right, it's still basically the same texture, but now I've got the cheese in there so you can see it once more just to make sure. And as I shape these, I'll go over the ingredients again, but let's look at some comments. And see, we've got the Keto Chow chili. Mostly it's people saying hello. At least there's some former Huskers on the Bengals from Susan, so she can sort of get on board. Let's see. Oh, Warden is sending a video to Express Yourself. Yeah, it's okay. Lots of greetings. We'll get into comments again and I'll make sure that I don't miss anything. But now I can make the tot shape. I knew it just felt like not quite right, and then I saw my cheese sitting there. Got mixed up with my dressing ingredient. These are maybe a little fat, but that's all right. So, and they can be a little bit fall aparty if you're not careful. Just make sure you keep squeezing them because it brings the liquid out of the cauliflower and brings together from the, there you go. One tot. That was kind of a long time to make one tot. And let me just get this all put together real fast. We'll take a look. I'll see, like Express Yourself says they, oh, I already read that. Poofinet says they also like cheese because it's Gouda. Hey, you're stealing my jokes. Let's see. And the Warden is making leg quarters using the flat iron seasoning. Oh, awesome. That sounds great. That stuff is really good on poultry. So, let's see. And, oh, hey, the Warden. How's the... I saw you earlier when you posted your video with your new dog trying things out. How's that going? Then Attila says, oh, the old joke of why does Columbus not have a professional football team? I know the answer to this one, but I'll wait. I'll wait. It's hard, though, because it's a bad joke and it's a funny one. So, making my tots here. And Lori's not here, so she's missing the tots that she suggested. So, which I bet, and now I see that Cool Kid Keto is talking to Caboodle Bry and saying they always have to make extra bacon and tell Hans which is the free bacon. Yeah. I bet bacon would have been a nice add to these Cauli tots. When I entered the info into Chronometer, it came out a little high, but I said this entire stuff was 4 servings. Like, I'm pretty sure it's at least 6, but sometimes we get really hungry, so you never know. And just spread that out a little more. And if you get a little stray challah rice or something, don't worry about it. It'll sizzle off. Oh. There we go. Attila's finishing the joke for us. Again, the joke was, why does Columbus not have a professional football team? Because then Cleveland and Cincinnati would want one. Aw. But we love our Browns and our Bengals here. We don't really know much about football, but we know that those are our local teams. So. Oh, my air fryer is making a little buzzy noise. It's because in the bottom, I keep a tin foil to catch all the crumbs. It makes the cleaning so much easier because then you pull out that bottom tray and you empty off the crumbs and just recycle the tin foil. Then you can just wipe down the inside with the cleaning wipes. It's so much easier than having things burnt directly into the air fryer. If you have one of the round air fryers, oh, hey, we've got a bot down here at the bottom if you want to delete that, Attila. Hopefully you can see it. I've got gloves and I am icky, so I can't quite do it off the bat. So, man, I thought I put that into the words to prevent. Must have missed it, because I did see that come up in a couple other streams, too. They come up with new URLs and sneak them in. I should also mention that you don't have to make tots out of this mixture. You can make them rectangles and make them like hash brown shape. They come out super nice and crispy in that shape too. And it's really nice. You can also, you don't have to use mozzarella. I used mozzarella because I wanted the hot sauce flavor to come through more. But you can also use like cheddar and bacon, all kinds of stuff. So there we go. That should be more than enough for me tonight. And my air fryer is going, so let me get this in and move that out of the way. Discard. So there's the tots. Let me see if I can. Yeah, sorta. There we go. Kinda. It's a little, with the studio light, sometimes it's hard to show stuff, and I can't really see on my screen because I have to angle it because my big nerd glasses get too reflective. But there we go. We just pop those in. And it's 15 minutes at 400. I'll keep an eye on them because sometimes they don't need to go quite that long. These were kind of big and fat, so they might need extra. So now that that's going, the important thing has to happen. We've got some time, so we'll make dressing later. Oh, hey, Christy DM. Oh, you got the keto chow. I'm so glad. I saw that a lot of them delivered, so that was pretty awesome. I want to report this. Give me a second. I just want to report this guy too. Report, and that should do it. All right, so Oh, and express yourself. Let's see. Said they were, that the spammers were crazy in the Friday Night Live too. Yeah, they sure were. They're really aggressive right now. I hope that YouTube can do something about them. So, and Caboodle Bry, I have you is asking about whether you could make these like a latke, and the answer is yes. It's they don't come out quite as good. They are pretty good, and we can do that sometime in just an off video, just like a follow up on the cauliflower stuff. But I need to get my water now that I can reach it from all the stuff. So tonight, our coffee is using the Delter press. Now, I don't know if we're going to go the whole time on the live, because usually with our coffee devices, I've got like a big long history on brewing methods that leads into a lot of cultural events and stuff like that. But that's not what's going to happen with the Delter press, and we'll get into why in a little bit. But I'm going to talk to you about this brewer because it's often compared to the Aeropress because it sounds kind of similar in the name. And I even said that in the description. Is it as good as the Aeropress? Is it, but the truth is they are so completely different that they are not even close to the same brews. So, this is the Delter Press chamber. And on the bottom, it has this special little jet seal is what they call it. And it has, as you can see, like almost like a little shower head. And it kind of functions like a shower head too. Water will come out of each of these little holes into the coffee. This is where the filter goes, this little device, and it'll screw onto the bottom. And we want to make sure that we prep it. These are the little round filters. They look like Aeropress filters, but they are actually not the same size. So that's one of those irritating things. They're not the same size, so they can't share. So once again, but when you get a Delter Press, it actually comes with like 100 of them. So you've got quite a lot of coffee before you have to order more. Oh, Express Yourself says, when I say the Delter Press, it sounds like a Southerner trying to say Delta. Yeah. So, but in order to prep it, you put your filter right down into the bottom. We're going to put it on my carafe. This carafe is not part of the Delter Press. This is just one of my little serving carafes. But it's the perfect size for the Delter Press to brew on. And when you prep that, you're doing two things. Not only are you prepping the water filter to open up the fibers, but you're warming your carafe a little bit too. So you just pour enough in there to get everything wet. And that's going to run through and get in here. You see now it's all steaming up. And we just let that go for a second and let it sit. And I'll finish telling you about the Delter Press. So it has this shower head. Then it also has this little plug. I'm going to tell you, this is the one thing that irritates me. Well, it's not the only thing that irritates me. This is supposedly a coffee doser plug. And quite frankly, I'm shocked that I haven't lost it. In theory, you put your coffee in here so that you can pour it into the filter. Like, I actually just wish that I could find my real doser, which is usually shaped kind of like this, and you put it in, you pour your coffee like a really wide funnel. Let's see. Okay, just more chatting about the pronunciation. So anyways, so that's the chamber. You've got your jet. You've got your coffee doser plug. I'm going to show you what I use it for. And the next thing is this is the plunger and the water chamber. It has a little ring seal that I am pretty sure that if I start using this more heavily, will wear out quickly. It regularly rolls off and irritates me. But one thing you probably can't see on the camera, because I can barely see it in real life, is down at the bottom, it has some little slots for where the water pours through. And that's actually why, unlike the Aeropress, where you're putting it and you're keeping the chamber in the up position, the Delter press, you're going to go ahead and insert your plunger the entire way. And you're going to keep it there. The way we brew is actually going to be lifting up. And what I'm going to do now is get my coffee. I ran out of my little container so you could actually, where you could actually see the coffee. But with the Delter press, you can use anywhere from 12 to 30 grams of coffee. Now, that's a large range. And with the original instructions, they tell you 12. Your coffee will be completely watery. Don't use 12. It has a max capacity of 30 grams. I will tell you, I like to use about 18 grams. It's not a super strong brew, but it's not so light that I feel like I'm drinking, coffee water. But I will also tell you that I grind it a medium fine, so right on that, like a 3, just like we've done with others. Get my little... By the way, this is an individual cup's worth of coffee. It holds, or it can hold almost a pot's worth. It's just a little, it's a little container from Coffee Gator, actually. Came with a freebie with something, and I don't remember what. But it's real nice, especially for travel, because it's got a ring of steel around the glass, so it helps it prevent from being shatterproof. You need to kind of shake it to level it out. And that's where I was saying it's kind of annoying. You can't really get a good smooth down for it, but there's a lot of good things, and it is actually a good cup. So I'm going to take my filter now. It's all prepped and moist and wet, and you give it a little shake, and you're going to screw it on. Good and snug, because you don't want anything pouring out or leaking. And then you just discard your preheating water. And here's where we get going. Now, you want hot water, but not boiling, about 190, so 180 to 190. Here's where I deviate from the instructions. I will tell you one nice thing that I do like about the Delter press, because we talk a lot about measuring and weighing and all of that stuff. The Delter press has, and unfortunately it's too tiny for you to see on the camera, but it does have little measurements on the side. And it has, over here, it's to 150 grams, and then it goes up here to 200, and then the max capacity of 250. Now, I'm a little bit aggressive. Now, normally what you would do with a Delter press is you would put your water up all the way to the 200, and then you would raise it slowly just a little bit to do your blooming. I like a little more fluid, and I feel like I prefer to go ahead and add, I need to be able to see my letters, my 50 grams of water right into the chamber. It goes right through the top. And we're going to pause for 1 second before I do anything. As you can see, it's holding tight. And I'm going to do that so that we can get in here and roll these tots over. Just so you can see how they're coming along. Look how nice and brown they are getting. Now, one thing I will tell you, I always see online people getting sad or upset because they're called tots. Tot is a reference to the shape. They don't taste like potato. It's cauliflower. It's going to taste like cauliflower, but it does taste good. And it does hit that niche. So, oops, that one's stuck. Let me put it on top. It fills the notch for it. They're good, but it's not going to be a potato, guys. It's not. So, set your expectations and enjoy the deliciousness for what it is. So, let me get this back in there. One second while I fiddle with it. There we go. And boom, they'll be done in 5 minutes. So I've got my hot water in here. And what I'm going to do is just pull that up so it goes into the chamber. And now it'll start. And I just do a very slow depression to put that into the grounds. I know that's a very subtle movement, so you can't really see what's happening. But you will see, well, it's very foggy from being preheated. A little bit is going to drip through. But this is just enough to bloom your coffee and get it swollen. Don't worry, guys. Attila will get it, or I will get it right now because I can see it very quick. Oh, he's got it already. I'm going to hit the report, though. Unwanted content or spam. Gone. So I always hope that when I report them that it somehow goes and gets to, gets their accounts removed, but I doubt it. So after I did that 50, I am now going to go ahead and add my water here. And I'm going to fill all the way up to the 200 mark. Maybe a titch more. There we go. But this is literally all there is to it. And you can see like some little air bubbles coming up from things going. And basically what I'm doing now is I'm lifting up. And what's happening is that through those little teeny slots on the chamber, on the plunger, the water is leaking out slowly. And there's little air bubbles coming from the jet. Little bits are dripping. But it's basically suctioning and setting it up much like it did with the Aeropress. Now we're in that. And I know that I told you that this doesn't brew the same as the Aeropress. If you saw the Aeropress version, oh, and I see Catherine. I don't know if I said hello to you, but I'm glad that you're here. So anyways, once we do this, we're going to sit for a minute and let it continue to cool. The Aeropress is an infusion and a percolator, depending on what recipe you follow. So this is a brew system that they're calling injection brew. One of the benefits that they say happen to this is that it gets a more consistent extraction. And they say it does that because we're not agitating the coffee. But as you may recall, I am fond of agitation. I stir my stuff all the time, so I'm on the fence. It's actually a pretty good cup. I know I seem really negative, but really what it is that I'm enamored with the Aeropress way more. I would say Aeropress, V60, and, then it's kind of a lot of things are all on par after that. Now, the next thing, though, is you start to slowly press. And that's part of the thing that makes this a little tricky. With the Aeropress, you can just cram right down and it's going to be all right. But with this, I already see that I've got some leaking from the seal somewhere. That's all right. We plunge real slow and start to put the water through. And sometimes you have to pull it up and re-plunge to get the water, especially if you've had leaking like I'm experiencing. So it's just super slow. And it's actually not that slow. Like I'm griping about it like it's 10 years, but actually it's no longer than any other brew. It's just more, I don't know, focused because I actually have to do it as opposed to just waiting. But you see, it's, well, you can't see because it's all foggy. But it's coming down into the chamber. I pause and I let it rest for a little bit. Express yourself asking if I'm fond of agitation, if that's during my work meetings. I'm actually not fond of that agitation, although it happens frequently. So I'm just pausing for a second while I continue to very, very, very slowly. And my tots say they are done. They look they look pretty good, actually. But I want to leave them in there because we haven't made the dressing yet, and I really want my coffee. The dressing will only take minutes, and we've got oodles of time to fill. So, but yes, I'm still pressing water through. You have to go so slow. And I think that's where my negativity stems, is that it, and I think you guys know, I don't seem to mind like a lot of really fiddly crazy stuff, but for some reason, this has just hit me as like, it's just like agonizing. I feel so impatient. But remember how I said that that I grind the coffee to a 3? You don't want to go any finer than that. And the reason you don't want to is because of that jet seal that they have with their shower head effect. And really, the other part of that is because if it's too tightly packed in there and doesn't have room to really roll about, or for the stuff to flow through, you're going to get what's called channeling, which we talked about with the mocha pot, where the water is going to stream through and make little holes, and then it doesn't penetrate the coffee and get full extraction. Now there's still some water. I'm going to pull up again. There's actually, like, I don't know, almost a 1/4 inch of water. So I'm going to pull up. And then I'm just going to, again, I've got an air gap, which helps a little bit. I'm going to keep plunging the rest of this water through. It's hard not to just cram down on it. And I want to be impatient. I want to be patient. So anyways, there you go. And it looks like not that much coffee, which it's not. It's a small brew that I did. You can always do, I saw them on some, I've seen people where they go and then they add more water and push it through again. To me, that makes the coffee weak sauce, and I can't stand that. I'd rather just have a smaller coffee and drink my water along with it and enjoy my coffee experience, and rather than trying to make quantity that's all watery. Oh, and Express Yourself says they made sure not to drive to Corpus today and get hit by an idiot so they could be here tonight. I appreciate that. So, anyway, so there's my coffee. I'm going to let that sit there and chill. By the way, this is what I do with their coffee doser. I plunk it on top and hold the warmth in. But let's make the dressing, and then I'll pour my coffee and serve up my tots. So, blue cheese dressing is ridiculous easy, and I don't know why people don't make it more often. But a lot of times it doesn't come out well because people add what seems like too many ingredients. Let me just start opening things. What I've got here is a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise. So, and by the way, blue cheese dressing is super fatty. So if you are needing fat for your keto diet or looking for ways to increase it, I'm telling you, a homemade blue cheese dressing is definitely one of the ways to go. So that's a 1/2 cup of mayonnaise and a 1/2 cup of sour cream. I've seen recipes before where they use all mayonnaise. And to me, I know what I said about fat. It's like lacks some tang and is almost too greasy in the mouthfeel. So that is why I like to do 1/2 sour cream and 1/2 mayonnaise. I feel like it's a much better flavor to your blue cheese dressing. Salt and pepper. And then the only other things that I'm going to add now is I've got a cup of fresh curly parsley. That's what you use for your herbs with your blue cheese dressing. The parsley is like super important, and it does need to be fresh. Don't use dried parsley. It does not impart the right flavor, and it doesn't have the right mouthfeel. But it is an important ingredient. Look, my air fryer is warning me that it's been sitting in there for a while, but I totally don't mind that. And then my blue cheese. I've got the Murray's Dansk Blue. It's I'll just pick it up for you. Sometimes blue cheese is really hard and crumbly. Like a Stilton is a little bit more creamy. The Dansk Blue is also a creamy. If you get one that's a dry crumble, you don't want that. You want the kind that's kind of creamy. See how it'll stick to your finger? That's what you want. You don't want the powdery blue cheese. Where's my spoon? Oh, here it is. I'm just going to scoop about half of this, well, maybe a little over half, about 3 ounces worth of the blue cheese in there. And I can see that I did not bring a big enough bowl to make my dressing. So it might get a little exciting here. Now, that's basically everything for the blue cheese dressing. Sometimes people want to get crazy and add onions and all other kinds of stuff. Oh, hey, Hungry Heath. I'm glad that you got to join us. Sorry that you got to work extra, but I know it'll be great for the cruise. A little more blue cheese. But I picked the Dansk Blue because A, it does have a good blue cheesy taste, but it's also not as sharp or as pungent in flavor as like a Stilton. Gorgonzola is another good one to use to make blue cheese dressing. I've got blue cheese everywhere on my little cloth. Anyways, here we go. You just basically give this a nice little mix. And it doesn't look like much right at first. I'm going to get my plate here. Stray blue cheese. But that is everything you need. That salt, pepper, the parsley. I see people try to add things to it like garlic or onions or chives. Guys, that's ranch dressing. Blue cheese is a strong flavor. It holds its own. You don't need to add all that other stuff. You're just detracting from what you needed in the dressing in the first place, which is the blue cheese highlighted by the dairy. Now, I do have a teaspoon of lemon juice to add in here. Now, if your dressing is a little bit too thick, you can add, and I've brought down some heavy cream, and I may because I want it dressing, and this is more like dip right at the moment. So just give me a couple more stirs here. So I am going to thin it just a little bit, but I had brought down a 1/4 cup of heavy cream, and I don't need that much. So get that set aside someplace here. And that's just to kind of give myself a little bit of a thinner dressing, a more pourable, dippable dressing. And Hungry Heat says, when working overtime from home is awesome, especially when you get paid extra for Sunday and Monday. For sure. Oh, hey, Two Crazy Ketos. Good to see you join us. I've already brewed with the Delter press. I'm going to share the fun facts about that in a minute, but I want to finish up my dressing. So, I don't know how if you can really see it, but you know, the parsley definitely crunched down and got nice, and then the blue cheese is really thick and chunky. Hungry Heath, I made Cauli Tots already. Man, I've been on it this evening. So, that's my dressing. I would like to pour my coffee now. I feel like it has settled. By the way, one thing that is nice about the Delter press is that it is a good cleanup. You basically pull it open. It's got the puck in here. And you can basically tap it right out. And then you're just going to give everything a quick little rinse. And it's good to go again. So it does have some positives. And the coffee itself is pretty good. Sorry, I'm running out of space to put all my dirty dishes. It's okay. It's the teenager's job to do dishes. But here we go. So you can see I didn't make my full cup. It's a smaller cup. So, and that was my little serving carafe. It actually has a lid if you make a whole pot and you pour it in there, so you can take it to tables and look real cute. It's got like little ripples like a beehive, so it's a nice little carafe. But that's it for the coffee. And as you can see, it's a nice rich brew. Let's taste it. Yeah, it's good. It's no Aeropress. I forgot to mention what I was using too. Today I used the Nguyen coffee and I used their blend. In the past we've had their Moxie, which is an all Robusto. This one is a blend. It's half Arabica and half Robusto. So, but it is the Vietnam coffee, and it was brewed in New Jersey, all of the normal stuff. I will publish recipes, absolutely. And that's no problem. I usually try and I forget to type it into the description, and I will try to do a better job about that. It is helpful if someone reminds me in the comments. Plus, that's also helpful for the stats. So, these are the Buffalo Cauli Tots. And here you go. Brown and tot shaped. They're still really hot. And for those of you who were stuck working, the Cauli Tots were riced cauliflower that had been pre-microwaved and then left to get to be very dried out. And then I mixed in half a cup of Parmesan cheese, half a cup of pork rind crumbs, and a cup of mozzarella cheese, and a quarter cup of the evil ooze going through, and then salt, pepper, a tablespoon each of garlic paste, and a tablespoon of mixed herb paste. So those are the Cauli Tots, and again, they were on the air fryer at 400, and I did 15 minutes. So yeah, I will make sure that I post up the dressing recipe, and I will have one of these. I mean, I think we all know, though, that most devices, when you have blue cheese dressing, if you like blue cheese, if you don't like blue cheese, it's disgusting, but is really a vehicle for putting the dressing in your mouth. I know that's what wedge salads are for. It's all about having the blue cheese and the bacon. Like, they don't even need to put the iceberg on there. I would be happy. Just bring me a bowl with the blue cheese and the bacon and maybe a sprinkle of tomato. But they don't usually do that. So I'll go ahead and open one. You can see all the steam come up. And the inside, I don't know. There you go. So yeah, it actually looks like potato tots, but it's cauliflower, and it tastes like cauliflower 100%. But they are really good. Sometimes I think we need to celebrate the foods for what they are, and we forget about that when we're trying to substitute for other things. Let me take a bite now. It's a little zippy, but really good. I'm really glad that Lori suggested the buffalo. Oh, yeah. Thanks, OP. That's really nice to remind people. I super appreciate it. Oh, man, they are outstanding. So, now I will tell you, that's something, though. I'm having my coffee. I'm a hardcore coffee drinker. The flavors might not blend so great, but that is another reason that you usually have water in between your bites. I don't know how to say your name. Oh, Cistinism. Is that right? I'm not sure. But thank you. They said that it looks really yummy. And Reichwin says, just give me the cheese dressing. Yes. J-Dog, late again. You missed everything today. Now I'm just into random blather. And Too Crazy Keto says, yes, the chicken wings are a vehicle for blue cheese dressing. Man, I love blue cheese dressing. It's so good. Anyway, so I did say that the macros on these, you really have to plan for them. Just, I said that entire batch was 4 servings, but it's probably going to come down a little bit. I might adjust it to 6 because I had quite a lot of the cauliflower left. So, but at 4 servings, I mean, you saw I had quite a large amount. 4 servings, 312 calories, 11.5 total carbs, 7.5 net carbs, 29.6 grams of protein, and 20.3 of fat. So if you do keto ratioing, that's 9% carbs, 36% protein, 55% fat. So, you might want to think about it a little bit. But at 6, it's going to be very low. You just got to plan it for your day. And you don't eat like this every day. Now, the dressing, with everything I said went in it, I also said this was 4 servings, which really is, it's more than 4 servings. But I like to think that I'm going to eat these ginormous quantities, and I'd rather err on the side of eating a large amount versus a reasonable amount because depends. And this is my whole dinner, so there's space. So if I divide that into 4 servings, it's 398 calories, 5.2 grams protein, 41.6 grams fat, and 2.8 total carbs, 2.5 net carbs. You get a little bit of fiber from the parsley. So, anyways, though, so that's 5% protein, 92% fat, 3% carbs. So, it's pretty good. Oh, and the warden says they've got their leg quarters and pork belly and Brussels sprouts. That sounds awesome. So what were you up to, J-Dog, that you were late again? I see that you're having, J-Dog's having the delicious Keto Chow hot chocolate for dinner. And Patty's having the chocolate PB creamer. Oh, man. Man, the chocolate peanut butter is a great flavor in the Keto Chow. But as ice cream, it is phenomenal. That one, and then I don't especially love drinking the root beer as a shake, but when Miriam told me to try it as ice cream, I was like, okay, fine. At least it's kind of like that vanilla ice cream flavor. But man, making it into the creamy ice cream it really highlighted the flavors, which I don't get because normally getting that cold mutes the flavors. But I'll take it. It was really good as ice cream. So, let me tell you some cool stuff about the Delter press. And when I said earlier that I don't have a ton of information about the Delter press with a big, long history story. Oh, and Express Yourself said they needed to change their name because they're no longer febrile. Okay. And Two Crazy Ketos had corned beef for dinner. Costco had them on sale for $3 a pound. Two Crazy Ketos, your Costco blows me away. You guys always find like these amazing things there. We have like the average Costco. And it's not that they don't try. They have a lot of good stuff, but we never get the variety that you guys have. Or the other person whose Costco is amazing when he goes there is Thomas DeLauer. My jaw hits the floor at the stuff that their Costco carries. So, but we're definitely not getting no $3 a pound corned beef. So, anyways, the Delter press. So why don't I have a big history and all of the cultural references? This is because I backed this on Kickstarter in 2018. And it got produced and delivered in 2019, simultaneously as it released to the public. This is an Australian invention by Mark Folker. He's an IT guy, kind of an engineering guy. He's been inventing coffee things, you know, all in recent years, though. These aren't throwbacks to old days. He's really coming forward. And I actually backed a different product that he's got on Kickstarter. It funded already, so unfortunately, I wish I had thought about that earlier. We should have talked about it. But, so he has basically two coffee companies, Trinity and then Delter. And they've both got their own little line of products. I would love to show you guys the Trinity one, but I do not have one because it is a $400 coffee device. I've got 9 million coffee devices and I don't need a $400 device. But I did back the Trinity Zero, and that was a $40 device, so much more palatable. I'm really excited to get it. I don't really know a whole lot about it, but when we get it, we're going to definitely live stream it. The Trinity Zero is his new design in the Trinity line. He's had a couple other things in the Delter line, but mostly it's been accessories. So that's 3 coffee devices in the 2000s. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what he comes up with in the next 5 to 7 years. And that is why I don't have a lot about the Delter press. It's brand new. It's a brand new innovation. His Jet Seal filter is his new vision on coffee brewing. So he's got a lot of room. So that'll be great. Let's take a look here, because I see there are comments. Oh, and Two Crazy Keto says, Costco's were weird. They all have different things. They have 4 Costco's within 10 miles, and only 2 carry pork belly, and only 1 has high key cookies. Our Costco does have the high key cookies. And J-Dog says, if you're a Costco user, they have the 4505 green chili verde salsa for $2.60 off. Ours doesn't have it on sale. It's full price. But even at full price, it's like $8, so it's not too bad. For that big of a jar, it's great. J-Dog says $5.50 for the big jar. And he had pork rinds with cheese that he melted on in the air fryer and then topped with the salsa. That sounds great. Let's see. Reichwin says the closest Costco to them is still about an hour away, so they're not exactly inspired to visit. No, I certainly wouldn't spend an hour just to go to a Costco. Especially because you have to pay for a membership. So if you can't go all the time, it's not worthwhile at all. So let's see. Susan says they need to go to Costco more. And Jujubee says a complete stranger brought them dinner at Jersey Mike's tonight. Wow, nice. I love that when those pay it forward things happen. So I like to do it every so often, once in a while, too. Oh, I'll tell you a pay it forward story. Gosh, now it's a lot of years ago. I'm going to eat a bite first. Anyways, so several years ago, it was not long after my surgery, actually, for the cancer. So I was already super emotional, and I just had like a shit day before at work, and I was still caught up in how horrible it had been. And then I just had like one of the mornings. I dropped my breakfast on the floor, and the cat threw up on the carpet, and it was like just like everything was going wrong, you know. And I was like, screw it, I'm late. I'm going to Starbucks anyways. And I went to the drive-through, and I don't know, it's just all so much, and I was crying in my car because then nobody sees you. And by the time I got to the window, I had got myself all together and was back to normal and feeling silly. But then the person said, "Hey, car in front of you, got it." And I was like, wow, it just like lifted my whole day. So definitely, sometimes I see when people get like, "Oh, give your money to charity. Don't waste it on somebody who can already afford a drink." But kindness is for everybody. Sure, absolutely. You should give to charity. Giving to charity is very important. Volunteering is very important. But guess what? That person doing that nice pay it forward in the Starbucks drive-thru made my day that day, and made me feel better. And so I didn't have more tears. I had been having a horrible day, and it turned the whole thing around. So let's see. Too Crazy Keto said they're breaking BBBE on Tuesday by meeting up with a subscriber and going to eat blue cheese and B-dubs wings as a side. You know what? That sounds great. So let's see. I lost track for a second because it kind of scrolled on me. There we go. J-Dog says he picked up four bottles of the green chilies. Too Crazy Keto says their Costco doesn't carry pork rinds. Ours doesn't carry pork rinds all the time. And when they do, it's the 4505 with the maltodextrin in it. So we tend not to buy them. But we also have Sam's Club, and Sam's Club has their brand, the Members Mark, which are totally fine. So I tend to order from Pork and Good because they're, I say local, but they're Ohio. Let's see. And Cool Kid Keto went to the store in Mount Tienda today, another local Houston grocery store, part of the H-E-B chain. The warden says a tip for Costco is you can buy a Costco shop card, their gift card. Then you don't need a membership. So if you have a friend or family, they can buy that for you. That's super cool. I didn't know that about the gift cards. See, more hellos. Oh, and Jujubee says they have BJ's. When I lived in Vermont, I loved BJ's, and it was way pre-keto, but their hot dogs were the best. I'm afraid to look at the nutrition on them because they're probably not good for me now, but I used to love those. We used to go out to the bars, and then the next morning, we would all meet up at BJ's and eat hot dogs. It was like a weird hangover cure. I don't recommend that lifestyle at all. That's college lifestyle. Oh, and J-Dog says he was late because he was watching the AFC Championship. Cincinnati Bengals made a miracle comeback over the Chiefs to win a trip to the Super Bowl. Now the LA Rams versus the San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, CJ Dog, we talked about the Cincinnati Bengals at the beginning of the live stream. Let's see. Oh, and express yourself. The nearest Costco is 3.5 hours. Goodness. But they saw frozen 4505 green chilies at Walmart. That's interesting. Oh, and Gretchen's talking about my background with my really large coffees. I love that background and I don't know why, but I would drink any and all of those coffees. Not all in a row, but all delicious. And by the way, let me see if I can do it right. I would love to learn how to make one of those latte arts or the coffee art. I cannot make a heart or a leaf for anything. And I have practiced and practiced and practiced, and I do not have the artistic talent for it. I don't know. I've tried all of the different techniques demonstrated by baristas. I'm going to have to go get a job somewhere where they smack my hands and say, no, do it right, until I get the hang of it. But I can't do it. So but I sure would like to. So sometimes I just swirl the crema from my espresso around and make a fake little heart shape in it to make myself feel better. So, oh, Too Crazy Keto is saying BJ's is great for household items, especially since you can't use manufacturing coupons along with their store coupons. Yep. I must have missed something because I saw Jujubee saying Dick's Sporting Goods, but I don't know what that was in relation to. Oh, and in New Jersey, they had a Siemens mattress shop, too. Too Crazy Keto says Rachel could drink all of the coffees in one sitting. That's that I could, but I don't think I would want to because I like to, especially some of these, I can't reach. There we go. This little guy here is super strong. That's a short espresso. So that was a high power pressure through some really fine grounds. You can run a marathon on that little teeny shot. So Gretchen Dontreader says the muddy coffee reminds him of Lavash. OP says they want to know who can tell them how to do the latte art. I don't know. And I can tell you, I've watched YouTube after YouTube after YouTube, and they're all like, "Oh, it's very easy," but I can't do it. And Too Crazy Keto says, "Please don't start on learning how to make crema designs. Rachel will make him learn." Well, unfortunately, cat's out of the bag, so you know. But, oh my God, Express Yourself says we should, that Joe needs to learn how to make a chicken in the crema. That would be hilarious. I think that might be a little bit too fancy. But I might ask a barista I know to see if they can actually work out a design. I have to eat more of this blue cheese. It is so tasty. Mm. Mm. And Gretchen Dontreader says the Turkish coffee makes it so they can hardly blink for 12 hours. You know, it's been a little while since I've had a Turkish coffee. Maybe I'll make one in the morning. That sounds nice. And the warden says they wish coffee gave me energy. Yeah, to an extent, I feel like I'm the equivalent of a functional alcoholic, but with coffee. It's just to keep the edge off. I don't really get like hyper or anything from coffee, and I can go right to bed and zonk right out. In fact, I'm hoping that I remembered to go and turn my mattress pad on so that after the live stream, I can make my warm magnesium calm drink and go and just lay in the warm bed. It's been really, really cold. If you didn't know, I have cold activated Raynaud's, so my fingers and my toes have just been in agony lately. So, oh, okay, I'm going to do something weird here, but I wanted to show you guys this because I was talking about working on my cosplay earlier. Now, with the pandemic, I became 100% work from home, and as a result, I don't have to ever put on button zip pants. I pretty much always wear leggings now. But I'm working on my cosplay, and I didn't want to get spray paint on my leggings. And so I got my big Rubbermaid container down that has all my pants in it. And I was a little bit concerned about how they would fit because, let's face it, I know I've been active. I know I've been doing stuff. Well, now not in the last week or so. I'm kind of slacking and I need to get back to it. But I had to put on some jeans that I didn't mind ruining. And I'm wearing them right now. And this is the excitement. I have not put on jeans, gosh, in almost 2 years. And the pair of jeans that I got, I didn't mind ruining because when I got them, they were always the ones that were a little bit irritatingly snug in the thighs and the waist. And so today, guys, these are my jeans. So I've got a whole inch here, and I won't be able to pull up my thigh for you guys, but there's room in the thigh. They're not hugging my thigh no more. So when we talk about body recomposition, sometimes I feel like I'm not achieving that because I still have big wings and I still have a lot of loose skin that makes me look extra pudgy up front. But as it turns out, it is working. The exercise and the keto is happening. So that's pretty cool. Oh, cool. And Attila actually went in the bedroom and turned on the heater. Awesome. That'll be great. Thank you so much. Let's see. But yeah, so super excited about that. And just so you know, it's definitely a recomposition because I actually weighed like 5 pounds more than I did back when these were tight everywhere. So awesome. Which makes me feel glad because I still eat foods like this. I might say I might need a pinch more salt in there. It's really good, but I like salt. I'm always short on salt. Oh, Juju B says they also have Raynaud's. Oh, and J-Dog's paying me a compliment because I appreciate that. But, and 2FXMJ says, congratulations, and also says, yeah, that sometimes it's hard to see the changes day to day. And Hoofinet's also saying it's an awesome non-scale victory. And now I won't want to get paint on my jeans either. I've already been out there, and luckily I don't have paint on them, but I still don't mind getting paint on them. And I do mind getting it on my leggings. So, hey, Rand Can Cook. Nice to see you. But this is exciting stuff. It does actually motivate me to get back on track. I just wasn't feeling great lately, and it's been really slammed. I'm getting ready for OhioCon. And I know I showed you guys like a bunch of the printed armor. Well, I got the rest of the printed armor. And then with that big deployment and changing to the new job, everything just kind of like snowballed. And I've just been slammed. And so not only have I not been able to exercise the way I normally do. Oh, I know you're not trying to be sexist, J-Dog. It's cool. But, everything was snowballing, and I've been getting exercise in, just not as extreme as I had been. But also, I had not been able to really focus on that cosplay, and now OhioCon is less than 2 weeks away. I have one more weekend to get my entire stuff together. My mallet is in pieces. It's one big roll. I still have to do some sewing. And we just barely started, priming the armor, which, by the way, sanding it was horrendous. And now I got to do the next layer. I did get it all primed. But, like, with all the sanding, I was wearing gloves. And even with the gloves, my fingerprint is not getting recognized by my phone right now. And it's all tender. And it already hurt because of the Raynaud's. So, good going. Let's see. Lots of hellos for Rand Can Cook. Caboodle Bride saying hellos. More hellos. J-Dog is asking if we got in on the smoked salts from Redmond's. I sure did. I ordered cherry because that was my favorite. I still have a hickory, so I'm good there. And honestly, the cherry and the hickory are my favorites. But mostly the cherry. And so I didn't order more of the chef's blend. I thought I would be nice and try to let other people get it. One more bite. Oh, Blue Dove is asking about what I'm cosplaying. So I'm part of a cosplay guild. And we are doing a theme this year because it's after the cons have been on hiatus, they're starting to have them again. We're going to OhioCon. And so we are doing Mandalorian mashups. and I am doing the Harley Quinn Alorian. So everything is going to be the red and black. I've got, I'm making a giant oversized mallet. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait for you guys to see it. I'm going to try and do like maybe a little bit of a live stream while I'm at the con. And then Sunday night, I kept my hotel over until Monday because the con tears down on Monday and I'm on the board game staff. But also that way I just told them that I had a live stream that I had to host and not to schedule me for anything during our time block. So during OhioCon, I'm going to do my live stream from the hotel, which is why we are doing, I think I've got American Press there. But yeah, so simple. And I was thinking the recipe will have to be real simple too. It might be a little short. Oh, and Express Yourself is asking how I fix my hair. Do you mean for the Harley Quinn? I'm going to have a Mandalorian helmet, so I don't really have to do a whole lot. However, if it works, because I'm either not going to do anything for my hair, but if it works, I do have a Suicide Squad wig because I thought that would be fun. Initially, I thought about trying to do the pigtails, but man, cutting through that 3D plastic, no, it's not going to happen. So I have a Suicide Squad wig, though, which has the long pigtails, and they can hang right down outside underneath the helmet. I just don't know if it's going to fit, though, with the padding in the helmet, and it's already going to be so hot. So we'll see. But let's see. Oh, and Cool Kid Keto says they've never been to any of the cons or done cosplay, but they have helped airbrush and body paint people for cons. That's super cool. Let's see. More hellos. Oh, and Reichwin is saying they have Dragon Con in Atlanta, and it's fantastic with all the cosplay. I used to love Dragon Con. I used to go every year, but as I got older, Dragon Con and Gen Con were really close, and I am a board gamer at heart. And so I went to Gen Con. And also I got old, and so the heavy duty partying at Dragon Con has gotten to be more than I am excited about. Sometimes the partying at OhioCon is too much for me. A few years ago, Attila and I were all at OhioCon, and we were eating with a bunch of our friends. Our entire little circle was there. They were LARPing friends of ours and SCA friends of ours, and we were all sitting. And of course, this was pre-keto, and we were having just food in the food court. And Attila had gotten like some kind of a cheesesteak sandwich and French fries. And some guy was so totally wasted that he reached over and took some of Attila's French fries. And you guys haven't seen Attila, but you should know that he has like a really serious face. I mean, he's got dad face. So the idea that someone would do that was already shocking. But like out of all of the people at our table that they took Attila's French fries was extra hilarious. Like, you know, at first I was just really shocked, but later telling the story, like I almost wet myself laughing so hard because it was so funny. And the guy's friend was like mortified. He was like, "Oh my God, you guys, I'm so sorry." And then he was like, "Dude, you can't just take food from strangers," which true. And he's like, "I'm sorry, he's so intoxicated." I'm like, yeah, we can tell. It's, you know, it's not exactly cool, but, you know, we get it. And you have to remember, too, at the time, you know, we're in our 40s, and this guy was probably barely 21. That's something we notice happens at conventions. People who are brand new to it, you know, that's that college effect. You're new to partying, so you don't know how to regulate yourself anymore yet. And you just get there when, you know. So, that happened, and it was just quite the adventure. Caboodle Bry says that they're having a WOT con in Columbus this year, supposedly. I haven't heard about that. That doesn't mean anything. J-Dog says they have a different con there called Dragon Ass. I don't know what that one is. Sorry, guys, that was rude. That was too big of a bite. But it was also a really tasty bite. And J-Dog says they love Renfest, but since the world has stopped, they're a little petrified being around that many folks. I gotta say, that is my concern as well. Look at that. Let me report. There we go. So, but what is the WOT con? Yes, what kind is that? Oh, Wheel of Time con. I haven't heard anything about that. I would be surprised if they made a whole con for Wheel of Time. Plus, cons are expensive, even the little ones. I will say there is room in here for another con, but they really got to step up, because one thing that has happened is we had a really popular sci-fi con for a long time called MarCon, but in the last like 7 or 8 years, it kind of just declined and is dying. And they decided that this year they're going to have one big party and call it a day. So naturally now a lot of people are coming, and so that'll be exciting. A lot of my friends are really big. I used to go with the authors, and we had a good time there. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it is. I haven't really enjoyed it for a few years. I only go now to like support friends. But I'm hoping that this last one will be back like its heyday almost. You know, after the coffee rested, you guys, it really got tastier. Oh, and Blue Dove says they made it to chapter 4 in Eye of the World. Gonna catch you guys up. So, yep. And the warden says that's why they didn't go to Texas Ren Fest last year, due to that. Too many pictures of people not wearing masks and not gonna chance it. I gotta say, I have a lot of concerns about going to OhioCon. However, I will say they have put a lot of stuff in place. First of all, they are going to be smaller in attendance than it has been in the past, with more space. They are requiring vaccines and a COVID test. Well, no, they actually stopped that part. So they are requiring vaccines, and you have to bring your proof of vaccine or you can't get in whether you paid or not. So, end of story. Also, it's masks required. They said they don't give a crap whether there's a current mandate or not a current mandate, that they are requiring masks. They don't care if the cheerleading con that's in the convention center that always seems to overlap doesn't need masks. They don't care. It's masks. You wear your mask or GTFO. So they're not messing around, and I think that that's pretty good. They obviously, as they met with staff, they did tell us, like, don't get in a fight with somebody. But definitely, they're like, listen, we've got, not only do we have our security, which they hire security for the convention, they're like, but Hyatt security is also going to be on call. So if somebody's giving you flack, don't fight with them. Just let them go and call both securities on your walkie-talkie, and they will take care of it, and they'll probably be calling actual police to eject them. So it's definitely all masks. They usually feed staff too, and this year they said, unfortunately, the other thing they'll do is, instead of the kind of food they had before, this time it's all going to be single wrap to go food. So you'll come, you'll get your bag and go. So they are actually being quite progressive and very aggressive about their policies, and that kind of helps a lot. Let's see. Oh, and the warden says not too far from them, there is a Viking thing that has events around solstice time. That sounds cool. Blue Dove says they got married at the Texas Ren Festival in Magnolia, but that was another life. That's pretty cool. I've seen a lot of weddings at the Ohio Renaissance Fair. They're really nice looking. Let's see. J Dog says it's taken him over a week to get through chapter 15. He's not normally a slow reader, as he went through the 7 books of Harry Potter in 3 weeks, but this is a harder read than he was expecting. Yeah, Wheel of Time can be like that. But it's good. Take your time. Take your time so that you can really enjoy it. J-Dog says on the cruise they took in November of last year, everyone had to be vaccinated and everyone had to wear a mask indoors. The only exception was under 12-year-olds. Now, they also said here, for OhioCon, the age limit for masks is 2. I'm hoping that people are not bringing their 2-year-old to the anime con. I know we have had small fries there before. 5 or 6-year-olds, people come and they bring their little kids. It's a younger audience. We're the old people there. But so they are just having kids and they still want to come. And, even some of my family have brought their little kids there. But I think this year it's best if they don't do that. And I hope that they're not. So, but you never know. But all of the kids, I just think it's hard though. When you got a little fry, sometimes you just got to get out. Whoa! Air fry and auntie. Oh, ear hustling on your way home. I'm excited to hear about your scrapping event this weekend when you get home. Not while you're on your way home, though. So, well, I didn't give you guys quite the history lesson, but we sure did talk through. Look at the time. 7:57. The more the coffee sits, the better it has gotten. I'm going to say that was my experience when I took the Delta Press to Gen Con too. It really has to sit to mellow. So I'm going to say, despite their talk about their no agitation giving you a consistent and smooth cup of coffee, is maybe a claim that I don't agree with. I do say it makes a pretty darn good cup of coffee, but it has to mellow. I'm also going to say I really look forward to more inventions from Mark Foker. It's been very innovative, and I'm really excited by the work that he's done. I can't wait for my Trinity Zero to show up. I almost forgot that I kickstarted it in 2020. They posted an update a week ago that it's on boats to the States now. So really means anytime now I could get it. Hungry Heat says it's only 6:57 there, so I can wait another hour. But I got to get up to work in the morning, so no. Oh, thanks, OP. OP gave a compliment and said my lives are relaxing. I'm glad to hear that. I appreciate that a lot. So I am going to go ahead and sign off so I can warm up the remainder of my Cauli Tots and finish my dinner and go to bed. I really enjoy this time with you guys. I really look forward to our Sunday nights. I believe that next week is the affogato. I cannot wait to try that with you guys. Don't be surprised, but I'm going to use Keto Chow ice cream for it because, well, that's what it's going to be the best ice cream to go with the coffee. So affogatos are awesome, but it's a meal in and of itself, so I'm just going to do something simple for the side. So we'll figure it out, though. I'll talk to you guys soon, and thanks for showing up. Make sure that you remember to hit the like button on your way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. It super helps with the stats. It makes a big deal. And put some comments. Comments are always helpful. make sure at least 1 or 2 of you or 10 of you remind me to post the recipes for the blue cheese dressing and the Cauli Tots. And to post a link for you for the Delter press. It is a nice little machine and it's very affordable. I may have done a lot of whining, but it was too much. Because it is a good cup and it is a nice brewer. It's very sturdy, easy to clean, has a lot of positives too. So, all right, good night, everyone. And also, please do feel free to share the stream out about periodically if you enjoy it. It helps us grow. It helps the channel get good stats. So that makes YouTube happy about it. And I'll see you guys all in a quick video tomorrow. And Monday night, what do we see? I can't remember what's on Monday night. Oh, Bronson's stream, I believe. Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.